Well, welcome everybody to our lovely gallery here this evening.
This year, the celebration is Unfinished Business, Women's Power of Persistence. And we have this distinguished panel of storytellers to tell you their stories about how they have persisted. Now let me introduce you to the moderator from our panel. This is Monica Ortiz Uribe, and she's an independent reporter, but what she's really known for is her podcast about the forgotten women of Juarez. And it was rated as a top 10 podcast of 2020. So we're glad to have her as our moderator today. This is Julie Castillo, who's a social work major from NMSU, and she's this year's winner of the Live Your Dream Award that Sir Optimus gives every year to help women who have overcome a lot of obstacles but are pursuing an education. So when Julie first started college, her mom became very ill and died. She became the legal guardian for her sister. So at 19 years old, you're the legal guardian for a 9-year-old. She's doing really well in school now, and so she works now at the Gadsden Center. So we're so glad to honor her today. Our next storyteller is Yashoda Latkar, and she's a visual artist, and she has some beautiful work here in the gallery you'll want to be sure and notice. She's originally from Mumbai, India, and she moved to the U.S. in 2019. That was good timing, huh? So her art explores many aspects of her legal status in the U.S., especially looking at the relation of migration and identity. And so she'll be telling us a lot more about that. Our third storyteller is Rabbi Yvette Lutman, and she is Temple Bethel's first female rabbi. She joined us in 2022. She used to be a lawyer, so she represented women, many battered women in court, and she also helped with family court issues like custody and visitation and child support. And here at Temple Bethel, she really strives to really support people who are invisible, the invisible population. Next, we have Arlean Murillo. So she's been very busy at Western New Mexico University. She got her undergraduate there, and she's currently working on her master's in educational leadership. At WNMU, she was government affairs, she was student body vice president, and she was student regent. She works now as a regional crisis specialist for the Department of Health, and she's also on the school board for Gadsden Independent School District. So welcome. Good job. And last, I think a good word for Claudia is educator, okay? So Claudia Rodriguez, she's working on her undergraduate degree in Human Development and Family Sciences at NMSU. She's been really involved with her children's PTA. She's also the education chair for the New Mexico Parent-Teacher Association, and she's also on the Gadsden Independent District School Board. And she's employed with NMSU as an educator with the Ideas for Cooking and Nutrition program. So welcome.
Thank you all for coming, and it's such a pleasure to meet the five of you. I look forward to hearing more. I'm just as much an audience member as you are. I'm eager to hear their stories and get to ask them a little questions. So Esther has already given us kind of an introduction to who you are. But I think maybe we can hear a little bit more, like tell us what you're up to today, what you're working toward. Julie, let's start with you.
So I was born in Las Cruces, but I've lived in Southern Park, New Mexico my whole life. I'm currently working on my bachelor's of social work. I'm doing my practicum at Las Cruces Public Schools. So I'm working with attendance and getting more experience for my social work. Back in 2018, when my mom passed away, there wasn't anyone who was willing to take my sister's custody. I wasn't going to give up in trying to get her custody. I'm planning on working for my master's, so I've already been accepted to the program, and I think that's it.
Very good, and you graduated early.
So hi everyone, my name is Yashoda. Where do I start? Okay, I make art. I am from Mumbai, India, and I moved here in 2019 with my husband, partner, and who's here to support me. We were kind of struggling with our or especially like what do I do every day, because I wasn't allowed to work on my visa. That kind of got me into the MFA program because I didn't want to just be on the couch and watch TV all day. I am about to graduate too this May.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm ready to like face the future, and let's see what happens. Okay, thank you guys.
My name is Yvette. I'm the rabbi at, what is it?
Temple Bethel.
I think that I always wanted to be a lawyer, and I got to do that, representing battered women, getting child support, straightening out custody. Those were real struggles, and eventually I saw the need for a mental, emotional, spiritual change. I could shove a decision down someone's throat and had fun doing it, but that wasn't the way to fix things long term, so I started being drawn to spiritual work more and more. I feel really good doing that. It fits.
I lived in Juarez. I was born in El Paso, but I lived in Juarez until the age of 18. And I was in the 15-year degree plan to get my bachelor's. I didn't know that you could get paid for living on a crisis day and night. And so that's my job. I am a crisis specialist for the DD waiver. and so for my passion is the little kids, I call them the tiny humans. And I love that, especially the tiny little girls that they look up to their moms, their grandmas. For me, it was my grandma that passed away. And I love it. You know, I feel, I saw a little girl right now and I said, this is exactly why I'm here for. I'm here for those who do not have a voice. And you know what? They do have a voice. We just need to give it to them.
My name is Claudia Rodriguez. I'm an education advocate. My mother used to attend all of the meetings that were at school when I was in school, despite the fact that she never understood because there was a language barrier. As Arlean stated, we are part of the Gadsden Board of Education. I was welcomed by the pandemic when I started, so it has been a journey. And with that, not only during that time, I had already committed to donate a kidney to a friend of mine, and here we are 2 years later. I am a living kidney donor, so that's where I stand at this moment, and I think thank you.
Well, thank you all for sharing just a bit more. I mean, I was already impressed after Esther's introduction, and I am further impressed hearing your elaborations of your stories. So, Yashoda, I'd like to start with you. You're a pretty new American. Like as Esther said, you came at a very good time. And so I'd like you to share what you explore in your artwork and how your own journey as an immigrant factors into that artwork.
Mumbai is just like New York, right? Crowdy, noisy, there's always something going on, and it's, again, the city that never sleeps kind of situation. When I reach here, there's like no public transport. I don't know how to drive on the wrong side of the road. And I had a dependent visa, so my visa status was a dependent. So that restricted me from work. I didn't have a social security. Thankfully, I found this program, and I really wanted to just go out there and do something meaningful with my life. But I had no idea what fine art meant. And what I realized is I hear so many stories around me, right? For an example, I want to say, again, I'm going to take example of my husband here. Some of his students, they were, I think, India or from Bangladesh, and they always smell like food that they make at home. My husband was like, I don't know how to tell him, probably don't cook food at home. That's when I started working with food. I started smearing all these spices on my face, on my photographs, on my video. Right now I'm making ceramic objects. Yeah, that's about it.
So, Rabbi Yvette, listening to your introduction and going from stand-up comedy to representing the invisible among us to now this spiritual journey, give us some more insight as to how you've ended up in the spiritual role and how that's nurturing you.
Okay, so think about Perry Mason. So he took the cases that nobody wanted to take. I've been interested in what we don't see and training myself to see what we don't see. There was one particular case when I was working as a referee for the courthouse in Ann Arbor, Michigan. In comes this case where the 4 children and the mother was in drug and alcohol rehab treatment. And the father had died, and his ex-girlfriend was there with the kids, and she said, look, these are not my kids, I don't want to raise them. And mother couldn't take them yet, and nobody wanted the kids. And I just looked, and they're present in the courtroom, and I just looked at these kids, and this is just not right, and if your heart isn't tugged, I don't know, maybe you're not human. I decided I wanted to do something that had to do with people's hearts. When it came to be more spiritual, I realized that women kind of hide their grief. It's much more likely that they are going to do everything for the other individuals in the family, but when it comes to them, they're much less likely to do something for themselves. I wanted to be the person that came in and said, it's okay to fall apart. And that's not about you being a woman, it's about you taking your space.
What helped you through your journey at such a young age and with such great responsibility? What was the source of your strength? And what sorts of things would be supportive to you going forward?
Well, my strength obviously came from my sister. And before my mother passed, she knew that I was going to do it. She knew that I wasn't going to let my sister go to her dad. She knew that I wasn't going to let my sister go to anywhere else but with me. I just wanted her to leave with that peace, that I was going to care for her. As I said, it was very difficult. At 18, I lost my jobs. But I've always said that I've been lucky because she's my best friend. My sister's my best friend. And there is nothing that I wouldn't do for her. So I always thought about her future before mine. She's my supporter. She tells me, oh, you can do this. Right now in Las Cruces Public Schools, I got a paid internship. So I'm doing my school, my internship, and I'm also getting paid, so it's like my job. It's just been helping me because that way I can spend more time with her, with my sister, with my family. Yeah, I think that's my greatest motivation.
Entonces, we'll now move to Arlean and Claudia. I wonder where your source of strength is, and has it changed throughout your journey from the past to now?
So I am a high school dropout. I dropped out when I was a sophomore. I left my house. I was a rebel. I went through a really rough pathway at the point that I can tell you right now, all of my friends from high school and before are dead or in jail. When my son was born, I was still in that pathway. And there's a little bit that I can tell you. It was that I allowed another person to grab him so I can go through to do drugs. And the fact that someone took him away from me and go ahead so you can have your freedom, that I think that was when I said enough. So I was a motivational speaker at Canutillo High School, and it was for troubled kids. Part of the grieving is just talking about it, and being very open and transparent. When I ran for mayor, they were like, well, she's this, and I did, but it's all out there. I mean, I'm not holding a secret. Everything is out there, so I think that has helped me as well.
I have been very blessed to have many people that have supported me in many ways. I think that being surrounded by people that are there to help you is what keeps me going. I think that the beginning of all of this was my mother. My mother just being there, again, having that that barrier, huge barrier. El tener esa oportunidad, mis padres me educaron el poder hablar el idioma al 100%, que es algo que yo nunca viví en México, pero aún viviendo aquí, ellos me apoyaron a decir, no, es que las palabras no se dicen así. So because of them, I'm blessed with this treasure, right, of having 2 languages. I need to continue, and we need to instill this. You know, don't be ashamed of your language. Be proud.
So now I'd like to ask all of you to tell us what goal or goals are you working towards at this moment, and what are some of the obstacles, the bigger obstacles that you face in achieving that goal?
I think my biggest goal is to just finish my bachelor's, continue my master's, and get a job doing what I love. As they mentioned, grief is something that is really important. Parents focus a lot on, they grieve themselves, but don't show their children that it's okay to grieve. For my family, when my mom passed away and I cried, it was like, no, you need to get up and do what you were doing before that. It was so different with me towards my sister, because I would take her out on drives every night and help her communicate about that. I would talk to her about it and let her talk to me about it. I think that's what I want to do. That's what I look forward to. Sometimes I myself get in a mood where I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it. Like, luckily my boyfriend has been very supportive. He gives me the time I need, and whenever I don't feel like it, and it gives me the time to just come back and remember that I will do it, that I'm going to do it, and that it will all be worth it in the end. Yes.
2 years back, I did this photo series. It was called Visa Wife, where I posed myself in home, getting bored, doing nothing, because that was like my situation at that time, where I was just home, sitting home, doing nothing, right? I got so much of response. Like, I realized that a lot of women, especially like Indian women, because you see a lot of Indian men coming here, migrating here for like IT jobs, you know, all the California, Bay Area, New York. What do their wives do? They are like educated, strong women, and they come here with their husbands, and they just like sit here. And, you know, I started this series called Visa Wife, and I got such a tremendous response about, I suffer the same, you know, like I get bored too, like high five. My goal is, honestly at this point, that make work, you know, be part of this community. I just want to keep doing that, not just for myself, but I feel like everyone who has migrated from another country to here in search of, you know, American dream, like maybe share something with them, give them, you know, stories so that they don't feel demotivated. And I don't know, that's what I want to do, honestly, with my work.
So, how many people are here? Raise your hands. No. So, if everybody here gave $3 to $5, we could remove some stumbling blocks for these people that are seeking extra education. So, if we could pay for their books, we could remove that financial stumbling block. So my goal is to keep taking money from people. Obstacles. I think that it's in us to do the right thing. So there's a section of the Bible that says, "There shall be no needy amongst you." And a few verses later, it says, "And when there are needy among you." So in that opening, you can make something of that. What do you mean there's going to be needy, but there's no needy? What's the difference? It's us. We are the ones that fill the gap. And so when we're motivated, bring out your wallet. If you can't bring out your wallet, be sure and go vote for policies that are going to help people.
Goals. well, resources and tools in our rural areas. I see a lot of things happening in Cruces. What happened to Anthony, La Union, Chaparral, Salon Park? Where are we? I see an obstacle. At some point, it comes from Santa Fe, and at some point it stops because we don't get it. So I feel like my obstacle is politicians, even though they said that they support me 100%. And I also think it's people, it's ourselves. We complain, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna go to Santa Fe, we need people, and then, oh, I can't do it. I was a preschool teacher, and then now I'm all about individuals with disabilities in the SPED department, but I feel that we need to educate, we need to educate the parents, you know, that you have a lot of power. You have no idea, for those of you that are parents that are not involved, have no idea the power that you guys have in the school system. It's, here comes mom and they're afraid, but I'm like, you know what? I'd rather you to be afraid of me than for you to neglect my kid.
I'm going to say ditto to everything that Arlean said. But one of my goals is to help build those bridges that have been broken. And so unless we build that, that's how we're going to know how powerful we really are. Our voice is important, right? And she mentioned about education. Absolutely, that is my priority, because I say if the families are helping and are involved, we're gonna have a successful community, right? And our future is gonna be better. I think as adults, we have a lot of social and emotional barriers, right? And things that it's almost difficult, it's taboo to talk about it, because how am I gonna tell them that I'm going through this? There's many times where I myself say, why am I even doing this? You know, why am I going through all of this? And then I realize that there's a reason why I'm doing this, because it's not only for me, it's for the people that are next to me. And that's in the education area. I'm gonna go back to the kidney donation. I really want to become a living kidney advocate, because I think that, hey, we have 2 kidneys, and if you're healthy, you really only need 1. And in general, you know, I'm gonna end with that. Having a better quality of life, I think, is my goal for everyone.
Thank you. We'll try to keep this short. My name is Arlean, and I've been working with the Suffrage Alliance since it began in 2020. And wow, all I can say is wow. I'm so glad you all got to hear what they had to say this evening, because it's so impressive. And so your stories have me thinking about the important connections of working with other individuals and groups as well. So thank you so much. And the Doña Ana Arts Council and the Suffrage Alliance would like to give you a certificate of appreciation to remind you of the contributions you have made this evening by sharing your stories that benefit other people. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Rabbi Yvette and Arlean, thank you so much. And Claudia, thank you also.
Thank you so much for being a part of this event. This could not have happened without any of you attending here tonight. And definitely, ladies, keep shining, keep being phenomenal. It is absolutely amazing to see women empowering each other. We need to see more of that, because that's how we create the change we want to see for our younger generation. And that's how we make the changes in our community. So thank you so much for that. Thank you to everyone, and we hope that you continue to visit us, and we will make this an annual event.
Yay.